Hello, citizens of YouTube land.
Hey,
It's your president and your VP back once again.
in front of the wall this time.
Yeah, back once again for another episode of Tom and Jerry Thursday. This time it's going to be Tom and Jerry Blast Off to Mars.
Yep.
It is a 2005 animated direct-to-video movie that it was Joe Barbera's solo project after William Hanna died. It was the very first movie afterwards.
And sadly speaking, Joseph Barbera died a year later after this movie was released in 2006.
So, this movie features the voice talents of Frank Welker and Brad Garrett, who people my age will probably know from Everybody Loves Raymond.
And Tom Kenny, who, if you don't know who Tom Kenny is, you're living under a rock because he's the voice of SpongeBob SquarePants. So, yeah.
So this movie starts off with some pretty good slapstick comedy between Tom and Jerry, and the bits are pretty funny.
Yeah, they destroy the house, by the way, that they're in. And then they go to the International Space Place. That's what's called in the movie. I'm not making it up. And they go ahead and destroy it as well. And then somehow they find themselves on a rocket. And then now they're stowaways on a rocket ship, and they start destroying it. And Jerry accidentally makes it go into light speed, and I'm explaining the film too fast.
Well, essentially they end up on Mars of all places, and it just gets insane. I'll say that.
Yeah, they at first they confuse Jerry as the Great Gloop, but then
which apparently might be a play actually off of the Aztecs and the Spaniards. You know, maybe I'm reading a little too deep into it, but think about it.
Yeah. Or it may be a play on a joke they did with Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo, Who's Your Mummy, where the people of the town mistake Shaggy and Scooby for
a Scoobus.
A Scoobus. They mistake Scooby for a dog god in the movie. So I think they're actually playing a joke on that. So I don't know.
So Tom is mistaken for a giant, and he basically levels the little Martian city because the aliens are very tiny, and they're green, and so then they decide to invade Earth because of the destruction of their city by a giant cat.
But beforehand, they then now think that Tom and Jerry are invaders because the spaceship was only there long enough for them to drop them off, basically, to invade Mars.
The the astronauts, okay, guys, they're like, they land, okay, then they spend like 2 seconds, then they're like, yep, nothing to see here, and then they're gone.
And there's a funny throwaway line early in the movie where they're like, "This was the easiest $20 we're going to make." Like, the International Space Place is paying them $20 to go to Mars.
Yep. Oh, and the Martians, their spaceships are powered by car engines.
Oh yeah, and there's a scene in the movie where they're parodying Mars Attacks.
And they use a car to jumpstart a rocket ship.
It's a robot rocket ship. Get it right, Dad.
Okay, a robot rocket ship. So Tom and Jerry, they have to stop the Martian invasion. Okay? And they do so.
By using Spike.
And they're granted a Hummer. And the president is apparently Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, because he's like Tom and Jerry, or I can't really. I'm bad at impressions, but he's like Tom and Jerry. Here's your new Hummer, something like that. And it's really funny.
It's a crazy movie, guys.
Because you would think they would try to do like Jack Nicholson, because he was the president in Mars Attacks, and obviously they're trying to parody Mars Attacks, but they don't. It's like, what are you thinking?
Well, I don't know why they'd parody Mars Attacks in the first place, but that's neither here nor there. It's only an hour and 15 minutes, and parents, you can definitely let your children watch this. It's a Tom and Jerry movie. We found it on Boomerang.
As always.
You know, like I said, the slapstick at the beginning is pretty cool, and it's pretty funny. And honestly, the first 5 to 10 minutes of that is better than the rest of the film.
Like I said, the first 2/3 of the movie where it's just Tom and Jerry just doing slapstick is very funny. But once you integrate the Martians into the slapstick, it just gets awkward and out of control.
I forgot to mention that Rob Paulsen is in this one too, guys. And as I said before, he was the voice of Raphael on the 80s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV show. So the voice talents are pretty good, but they weren't really given that much to work with.
Yeah, because first you have Scooby-Doo, which is Frank Welker, and he doesn't even say that many lines. All he does is really like a crying noise and a gurring noise as Spike. Then you have Tom Kenny, who's SpongeBob, who doesn't really say much either. And then you have Raphael, who also doesn't say much either.
He was the voice of the computer. And a couple of other characters in the movie.
He still doesn't say much.
I'm just saying. But overall, it's not really that bad. My rating for this is 3 out of 5. What say you?
Also 3 out of 5.
So we're in rare agreement again. This one's 3 out of 5. Again, you can check it out on Boomerang. I'm sure you can also find reruns of it on the Cartoon Network if you don't
have... Or the Boomerang Network.
Or Boomerang Network if you just have cable and you don't have a subscription service to their streaming channel. So, but of course, if you think that Tom and Jerry Blast Off to Mars was the worst movie ever, well, you're wrong, because it wasn't. It was just, kind of average, to be honest.
Yeah.
But a step above, probably The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. And Tom and Jerry and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, including the tunnel scene.
And best of all, what probably bumped it up to 3 out of 5 for me,
no Tuffy!
No Tuffy in this one. So,
but we're going to do Robin Hood and his Merry Mouse next, and that one does have Tuffy.
But hey guys, for those of you who do have those opinions out there, just remember, we're just two idiots with a cell phone camera. Our opinions do not matter, except they actually do, because we have a YouTube show, except they actually don't. So, having said that, we'll see you guys tomorrow, where it's going to be Walker, episode 6, that we're doing for you guys. And we'll see you then. So, that only leaves...
And then Saturday is Scooby-Doo Saturday.
And then Sunday, it's back to Lifetime. So, there's the schedule, as we've been putting it out for you guys. So, there is just one more thing for us to do, guys, and that is... Peace and love from Denny and Son. See you guys next time. Bye.